Last Saturday, my daughter and I returned from a birthday party. When we arrived home, Lene had prepared a delicious meal for us of rice with mixed vegetables and a sweet soy teriyaki sauce. Well, when this was placed down in front of my daughter, you'd think we had just fed her a big pile of garbage because she began to have a fit and wouldn't even touch it. Not even that, she wouldn't even look at the food. And the funny part is every vegetable in that dish were the vegetables she liked. But she would not touch it. She had decided beforehand that she did not like this dish, so she was not even going to give it a try. Now, I tried to remind her what Daniel Tiger says and try something new. You just might like it, but it wasn't working. So after about 30 minutes of her sitting there staring at this bowl of rice and vegetables, we gave her two options. One, you can eat the vegetables and rice, or two, you could go to your room and not have any dinner. Well, let's guess which option she took as she stomped down the hallway to her room, slammed her door, and began to make the most vile animal sounds I had ever heard. Well, being the great father I am, I decided to capture some of these sounds on tape.
Are you ready to eat now? Is that a yes? Okay. When you're ready to eat your vegetables, you can come out.
No.
As wonderful as those sounds were, I will say about 30 minutes later, she emerged from her room, came to the kitchen, picked up the bowl of rice and vegetables, and took a small bite. To which she responded, "Ew, gross, yucky, bleh, bleh, bleh." "How many bites do I need to eat?" We said, "All of it." And she faked hating it, but you could tell that she secretly really enjoyed eating those rice and mixed vegetables. All I was thinking was, kid, just eat the damn carrot.
If only parenting were as smooth as bourbon. I'm Lene.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is Bourbon and Babies Podcast.
Straight up parenting on the rocks.
All right, folks, we are back. It is episode 9 of Bourbon and Babies. Today's episode is called...
Just eat the damn carrots.
That's right. Just eat the damn carrots, kid. And we are here with our friend Beth, who was formerly the bartender at one of our very favorite restaurants, the Bardstown. And for those of you who are not from Louisville...
It is not just a restaurant. It is a restaurant, bar, performance venue, karaoke bar, comedy club... Single solitary building. That's what the Bardstown is. So Beth, what are we drinking tonight? Can you tell us?
Yes, this is called the Cozy Rosie, which is our big winter drink at the Bardstown. Usually it's done with 4 roses, but really whatever your bourbon of choice is. And then you're going to layer that, a shot of that. You're going to layer that with cinnamon bourbon. You're going to do a splash of sour apple, shake it up martini style, and then a splash of ginger ale.
And then what do we pop into it for that nice red color?
The favorite part is the red hot tamale candies.
Ooh, baby, red hot tamale candies.
That's right. Cinnamon candies, because candy in your drink.
And Halloween. Halloween is just around the corner, and we all know that it's our kids' favorite holiday, basically.
She's been planning for months now.
For months. Our kids obsessed with Harry Potter, so you will be seeing family pictures of all of us as all of the Harry Potter characters, and the baby is dressed up as
Hedwig
the owl.
Oh, baby. Excellent. Right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Let's enjoy our Cozy Rosies.
Delicious.
We're on point, my friend.
On point.
You.
This is why we have guests on Bourbon and Babies, so that they will bring us delicious drinks. So the episode is called Just Eat the Damn Carrots, because feeding children
sucks.
It's so hard.
Tell us what your experience has been. Tell us about your kids first. You have 2.
I have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. When I first had my first son, I was very much a crunchy mom. That's what I wanted. It was going to be all organic. It was going to be fresh fruits and vegetables, no processed anything, no sugar. And I committed to that for a very long time.
How long were you able to keep the sugar out?
Oh, at least a year.
What?
Now, Grandma and Grandpa did slip in. And they were doing
like they do.
some
Speaking of, I went to a girlfriend of mine's daughter's first birthday, and I looked around and I said, Elise, where's the cake? And she looks at me and goes, don't you even start with me. I've already had it out with my in-laws. I don't want to hear it. She has not had sugar a day in her life, and she's not starting today. And I was like, you know what? Good for you.
Right. You made it that long.
You are committed, sister. And listen, props.
Your kid's going to be a sociopath. He's going to be so mad that you deprived them of sugar on their first birthday. Their pictures are not going to be of a smash cake. It's going to be like a smashed strawberry.
It was a smashed strawberry.
It was. Aw. See, that, I love you, Elise, so much. This is nothing against you, but give her that's your first birthday.
You know what? It's her choice. She's the mom. Like, you do you. You do you.
And there is a lot of fear and stigma around children and their obsessiveness with sugar. And I just thought...
Children, we're all obsessed with sugar.
Me! Why is it okay for me to be eating ice cream, but then I turn to my son and I'm like, you can't have this.
Because you do as I say, not as I do.
Right? I'm like hiding my ice cream in the back.
It's awful, but we all do it.
But we all do it, let's be honest.
That's been my whole life, hiding sweets.
Our thing is sugar. We'll get to the sugar thing later. But anyway, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I had this plan. And my son was good up until his year. It was like when he learned how to say no. Like he figured out that he could say no.
Oh, that's an option?
I guess that's what it was, where he just sort of turned. Because there was a point where he would eat pretty much anything I put in front of him. And then suddenly it was like... no, not this anymore. Not this anymore.
You're like, but just yesterday you liked that.
Yes. What ended up happening is he went a couple days without eating anything. And I started to kind of freak out because people say, oh, don't worry, he's not going to starve himself out. I was like, I don't know. My child I think he's going to starve himself
He's going to win.
Yeah.
So he went a few days?
Yes. Where I was like, I don't know, should I tell someone? Because then you're like, am I being a terrible mom? Maybe I should just, So it was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get Pediasure because it's got, nutrients in it.
It's sweet.
It's sweet.
Pediasure. Is that like Pedialyte?
It's
nutritious?
It's like the more milk
the milk
version of, and it smells awful. It tastes awful. I feel kind of bad giving it to him. It's like baby formula almost, but chalky tasting. I'm like, whatever, here you go. Pour it in a sippy cup and I give it to him. And I swear to you, he became a crack addict. He was addicted.
It was probably chock full of sugar.
Tons of sugar was in it. Tons of sugar. And I swear, it was like watching this animal. The worst tantrums he's ever had have still to this day been wanting Pediasure.
Whoa.
And
interesting.
So then it was like this new side of him where I was like kind of scared to take him in public because he might have a Pediasure meltdown. And it was bad. Like we started calling him a new name. His nickname was Carlo because that was his like demon baby that came out when he wanted his fix
of Pediasure. Is this a bad time to note that we've just been sponsored by Pediasure?
It's so damn funny. I am dying now.
It was bad. So what I decided was, okay, I have to cut him off. Like, we have to go cold turkey because it was like, maybe
do they
I'll
have
just
Pediasure rehab for babies?
I think that they do. I feel like I'm not the only parent who has had a child addicted
I bet you're
to
not.
it. And I don't know if it was just because he started getting... if it was the sugar or if it was like he was suddenly getting nutrients that he wasn't getting for a long time. I don't know what it was.
For a long time, the days that he was starving?
Yeah. So finally, I cut him off and I just stopped buying it. And there was some tantrums, heavy tantrums, like looking for it. And I'd have to be like, look, it's gone.
He's like hiding it inside of the toilet and like...
Yes. He's like... And all the things you think of people doing, like first he's like really angry and stomping. But then he's like crying and like trying to get your sympathy. But then he's like trying to be really sweet and like snuggle up and like looking for
He is trying every tactic. He's like my acting student dream.
He is.
He's gone through every tactic to achieve his intention.
Kind of impressive.
It's amazing. He must be your son.
And it was
right. Natural performer. I love
it. So I cut him off. And it had been a couple months. So this story, we were going through Target and I'm like super pregnant at this point and tired. And he sees the bottle.
And how long has it been at this point?
Oh, months.
He's been clean for months?
He's been clean. Carlo again came back.
Carlo's
in
back.
In the middle of Target, and I'm freaking out. And we get in the car, and he's like not even interested in it anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
it's over.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just done. I don't know if...
Hold on. He started eating other things that he was probably getting sugar from.
That's true.
So he
was getting his fix other places.
Yeah, he was getting his fix slowly throughout the day instead of all in one shot with the Pediasure.
But I will say that in general, he still, to this day, he doesn't eat... Like, I try to bribe him with candy sometimes. A lot of times he's not into it. But it's kind of backfiring. Like, you know how you give your kid a treat when they're potty training?
Uh-huh.
He's like...
The M&M?
No,
right?
I'm not into that treat.
Start handing him like a $1 bill, and he's like, no. You're like, here's a $5. No. Here's a Benjamin. Now I will pee in the toilet for you.
Like, please.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, Pediasure. I feel like I gotta try this shit now.
I know. Prepare to be disappointed. I don't know. I was like, really?
So tell me what it's been like with number 2. The second kid, I mean.
Oh my gosh. Complete opposite. As soon as he started eating, it was like, give the kid anything he wants, basically. I mean, I try to like hold back a little bit on straight sugar. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, today he was eating saltine crackers off the floor, and I was like, okay,
that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's probably got some fiber from like...
Right. Listen, I'm not going to stop you because eventually you're going to turn on me.
But we have a thing with sugar. Okay, so here's our deal. We both were, I don't know, pretty chubby kids, I think.
I was fat until sophomore year of high school, yeah.
All right, so our kids are doomed because, I mean, they're going to have a fat face. Like, it's just going to happen, and that's cool. That's cool.
It's genetics.
Right.
We're not going to have any waif children.
Jordan and I, because we both know that sugar is absolutely our weakness, we started the no sugar rule years ago when she was, what, 3?
Yeah.
4?
I don't remember, but it was only on the weekends she could have sugar. And during the weekdays, she does not have sugar. So, I mean, other than like what you get from fruit. You know, if you're eating the apple, natural sugars, fructose is fine. Right. But, you know, I'm not going to make you chocolate chip pancakes, or I'm not gonna, you know, allow you to have ice cream after dinner. Mm-hmm. That's just on the weekends. And
at first, you know, I was pretty proud of us because she's a rule follower. Yeah, she loves rules. Oh, thank God. And during the week, someone would say, "Hey, do you want some ice cream for dessert?" And she'd go, "No, it's not a sugar day." Which I was like, you're the best. This is amazing.
The sweetest. I love that.
Isn't that so cute? But then I'm reading all of these articles in preparation for this episode, and all of the articles talk about how you shouldn't deprive
So we've been wrong for years now. It reminds me of, okay, so I think it was last Halloween, we got our bounty of candy, and I have a jar upstairs that says Daddy's Stash with a little mustache on it, and I packed it full of candy, and we got rid of all the other candy that did not fit in the jar because we don't need that much sugar in our house.
Because Jordan and I will eat it all.
Oh, right. Who eats it?
We eat it, yeah. So, but I noticed that it was slowly dwindling, the jar, and
normally that would be me.
Exactly, and I accused you. I was like, Lene, you're eating all the candy. And she's like, I have not touched a single piece of that candy. I came downstairs to our basement, and the garbage that's in our downstairs bathroom had a layer of toilet paper very loosely over the top. I'm like, what is this? And I pulled the toilet paper back, and there was a stash of wrappers, all these candy wrappers. Our daughter was being super sneaky and just piling the candy wrappers underneath the toilet paper layer.
Oh, that's so funny.
In the garbage, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I was kind of proud.
That's really
I was like, this
funny.
is like me looking back at my childhood when I used to like sneak upstairs and get a big scoop of peanut butter and load it with chocolate chips and M&Ms. I know. Yeah, I would like sit downstairs in my den and like huddle down in the chair like where no one could see me with my little Dixie cup filled with peanut butter and chocolate. And there's no wonder I was a fat kid.
It's like you don't want your kids to do that, but I'm a grown woman. Let me tell you what I do on the weekends.
What do you, Beth? What do you do on the weekends?
Do you think I ever get the ice cream in the bowl? Ever? No, I don't. I just sit and eat it out of the carton. So I don't know.
I can't do that, and here's why. Because I have this complex about finishing things. So, like, if you give me the whole carton, I have to eat the whole carton.
You're part of the
And
clean
if it's-
plate club.
It's a problem. And,
Yeah.
it's interesting you say the clean plate club because
Yeah.
there's this speculation about how it's problematic for you to tell your kids they have to clean their plate because you're
Right.
teaching them to eat more than what they actually want to.
Exactly.
But then also here in the United States, when we go out to eat, the portion sizes are huge. And if we actually finished our whole plates,
Yeah.
which of course I almost always do,
Right.
we're eating like 2 meals worth of food.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't make those portions at home.
Our society in America and how we treat food, bigger is better. You
Yeah.
know, more is more. My family
that's
is
why I married
Italian.
Thank you.
Wink.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, my family's
Promotion.
Italian, so like it's insulting when you don't eat the food.
Oh, we were vegetarians for a long time, and my parents really struggled with that because when we would come home for holidays, my mom would go, "Well, I don't know what you eat. I don't know what to feed you."
Yeah.
And we would all inevitably get that question of, "Oh, you don't eat meat? Okay, well, chicken's fine, right?" Well,
Right.
What do you mean you don't eat meat? I'll make you a lamb.
even as adults, we're giving our parents grief at the dinner table. My mom's like, just eat the damn chicken or the lamb or whatever.
You know, that's interesting because something that I've always said about because as a yoga person, a lot of people come to me about being vegan or being vegetarian. And, I think that a lot of it comes down to is that what you choose to eat there's power in your choices. So even if you're going to choose to eat, crappy food today, there's always power in those choices with diet because only you are deciding what goes in your body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't know why I've never thought before to compare that to children. That is one of the few ways that they can have control.
Totally. Yeah.
So of course they're going to go for it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? What else do they have control over except food and, I don't know, maybe sleep?
Sometimes they don't have control over food. So our son the other day decided that he now doesn't like corn, even though he ate corn the day before. And so I literally pried his mouth open and shoved the corn in so that he would taste that he does actually like it. And then sure enough, he continued to eat it. But
Oh yeah, I do like that.
oh yeah.
What is that weird yellow thing?
So they do have control at a certain point. And I do think that that's an excellent point, Beth. And I wonder, how do you bridge that gap between letting them test out their boundaries and push on you, because that's a lot of what these food issues are them just pushing back and
What
testing
can
their
I get
boundaries.
away with?
Right.
But how do we do that, still make sure that they're eating healthy, and then let them feel empowered around what it is that they want to eat later?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's something that parents put too much stress on themselves about.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I ate garbage as a kid. I mean, it was straight. I didn't actually eat garbage. I shouldn't say
Velveeta.
that. So I'm from the South, as you can tell. I'm from the South, and we love our Velveeta. And Velveeta goes in
Right.
cheese dip
an
and
effort.
macaroni.
It's
and
not
cheese.
actually cheese, though.
It's not.
No,
It's not
it's
even in the
magic. That's what it
refrigerated
is.
section. It is magic
It's
deliciousness.
a block of goo.
And if you want to hear something gross, I would legit slice off a piece and just eat
Oh,
it
yeah.
plain, because it was. I know Jordan's gagging right now. He's like, and this is why you were a fat kid. It is. That's exactly why. I loved what you said, though, when you said that we maybe put too much pressure on ourselves. And I found this really interesting study. And what it said is that multiple studies from Time Magazine, Harvard, Purdue, have shown that kids who eat together with their parents have lower rates of everything from obesity to drug problems, and they get all of the good stuff instead, like higher ACT scores. So maybe you're right. Maybe we need to take the pressure off of ourselves. And if we do have to do what we do with our kid and make her separate meal, as long as we're all sitting down at the dinner table together, we can try harder, and we will try harder.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever stop trying.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely not going to break my neck over it, because we still get family time. And I think that is the most important piece of it.
it's a relationship with food, and it's your relationship with the people that you are with.
When you said it's about that relationship with us and our parents, it made me think of the fact that there are sometimes we get together with our family and all there seems to do, everything revolves around when the next meal is and what the next
absolutely.
meal is. People come in town, it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, we're going to breakfast here, and then we're going to lunch here, and then we're going to dinner here,
Yeah.
or we're going to make dinner, and everything revolves around the food. And I don't love that, and I don't really know how to get away from it.
Yeah.
But if what we're saying about us sharing meals and having meals together if we think of the meal more as the social occasion and the time of bonding between everyone and making that importance, then food really does have a pretty important part in our daily
It does,
day-to-day.
but does it have to? Like, how can we break the habit that we have of feeling like every time we get together with people, it has to be oriented around food?
I think it depends on if your relationship with food is clear and healthy or if it's not. So maybe instead of focusing on what your child is eating, maybe we need to focus on what is the relationship with food that I'm teaching my child. So can I be eating a bowl of ice cream behind my kid's back? Because maybe that's me practicing a bad relationship with food. Or maybe I'm okay with that. I don't know.
That's your secret lover.
It is my secret.
It is.
And don't you tell anybody. Don't you tell what I told you tonight.
Me and Haagen-Dazs, we go...
Ben
We're not recording
and
right now. It's
Jerry.
fine.
I feel like something that we've done that I'm happy about with our daughter is she knows foods that are good for her and foods that are not good for her.
Right.
And granted, she obviously likes the ones that are not as good for her, probably more than the
Don't
ones that
we
are
all?
healthy, but she will pass up the unhealthy ones and say, you know what, I've had enough of that sometimes, and vocalize it. Like, I've had enough sugar today. I don't need it anymore. And because she knows, because we taught her what is good food and what is food that you should be taking in rations.
Yeah,
she's
does love
much better
food.
than I would.
When she was 4, 3, barely talking, she knew how to say, I want to keep eating. She loves food. And I suspect that her relationship with food is going to be a challenging one because she does love it so much. And
But we definitely have to go to the kitchen is closed. She'll be like, can I have something else? Like, no, kitchen is closed for the night.
Yeah.
And she knows when we say that not to ask for anything else because at that point she will have already had her peach and her banana and her chicken nuggets and her peppers, and she's had more than enough that she needs to keep going.
Right.
And it's just kind of like out of habit, and we think it's mostly out of boredom.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with helping a child learn, just like anything else. How you feel emotionally is something that we feel like responsibility to teach our children. It's the same with how do you feel physically. So do you actually feel full right now? Do you feel hungry? Do you want more? Or are you ready? Or are you just bored?
a friend of ours gave me some really great advice that I loved. She said, most of the time, and we all know this, most of the time we think we're hungry, we're actually just thirsty. Mm-hmm. Because in America, we tend to not drink as much water as we should. Yeah. And she made a suggestion. She goes, why don't you make a production of it? Part of what she's doing when she's bored is wanting something to do and going in the kitchen and like getting something out and putting it on a plate and washing it off. And that's part of the production. Well, it can be the same thing with water.
Yeah.
And I know for me, when I have been the best regarding eating really healthy and not eating late, it has been when I've had this habit of making tea at night, because I do get the late night munchies.
Yeah.
And at like 7:30, I start going, oh, I want something.
Yeah.
And if I go in the kitchen and I put the kettle on and I get the tea bag out and it gives me something to do. And so Carol made this great point to take her in the kitchen and say, let's go together and get you some water. And so I've been trying to do that when it comes up. And it's my hope that will be successful.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing about what we talked about, having them be involved and giving them the power that way. Because the thing is this is how they show their power, what little power they have as kids.
You're absolutely right. I had not made that connection, but you are absolutely right. Yeah. That is them taking control.
Exactly.
And that's a huge part of why she goes into the kitchen and asks for something, because she wants to be able to make that decision.
And isn't that what we do as adults? When I feel out of control, what do I want to do? Head to the drive-thru.
Yes.
It's just that one little piece of my life that I know I have control of. So you have the choice to abuse it or make it worth your while. And it's the same with kids,
Oh man, whenever you're out of town, I hit up Taco Bell every time, and it is always satisfying.
It's that
chicken chalupa.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we were talking about when we said that deprivation.
So
because you get
good.
deprived, you like have that fix.
She's
for
out
that
of town,
Pediasure.
chalupa time.
You gotta get that Pediasure. Just a little bit. I can stop whenever I want.
Chalupa.
Oh, man. Oh, awesome. Well, listen, Beth, you are a dream. You have such awesome insight, and I feel like I could sit here and talk with you for hours about this stuff. So you will have to come back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're such a pleasure. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 9. Please share with us your crazy trying to get your kids to just eat the damn carrots moments on our Facebook or Instagram at Bourbon and Babies Podcast, or on our parenting group, Bourbon and Babies Straight Up Parenting on the Rocks. Enjoy that cozy rosy. We love our bourbon and we love our babies. Always drink responsibly. We'll see you next week.